you want to. For some reason, it's not connected again. Oh, yeah, there you are. That's
Yeah,
it.
we're
Right
good.
there. Done.
So we're streaming on YouTube right now. For those YouTubers watching, this is going to be an awesome, awesome episode. I real quick just need to name it on on Facebook. So
Yeah,
Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. We're going to record
I'm here for
very,
you.
very soon.
Mary Pick 78. You motivate me to motivate you. You inspire me to inspire you. It's a coalescing of energies, man. Come on, ready to go. The
Alrighty.
fact that you're joining in, we're aligning our energy, our hearts, our minds, our souls, man, for the greater good. Let's go. So you put two candles together. Let's go.
Anthony,
Yep.
if you could raise your Instagram camera, it's comedically low right now. Your face.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Sorry, guys.
Hey, no worries. For those people on YouTube, mind the extremely long intro. We're getting right into it. In 3,
Yes.
2,
All right.
1.
Leaders and healers, ladies and gentlemen, gamers and claimers from around the universe, from around the globe, from around the community, wherever you are abroad, whether you're listening to this podcast passively or actively on all the platforms we're on, this is the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. I am your host, Anthony Cheam, speaker, author, life coach, trainer, love bug to the world, ready to serve you, ready to give you the best of everything I've learned over the past 15, 20 years, studying this self-help industry, from spirituality to emotions to relationships to money to health to wealth to wisdom, whatever it is. We're here to cover it all. We're here to help you claim your power, clarify your purpose, and cultivate your deepest, widest, and highest passions possible. So ultimately, you can show up as a better version of yourself, upgraded version of yourself, an updated version of yourself, a more sharpened, wiser, happier, healthier, wealthier version of yourself, so you can inspire others to do the same in whatever role you play in your life and to be fully present with your life and to appreciate your life. So thank you for joining us. We are on my Master Life Lesson Week, and we might actually just expand this into next week because we've got a great response from this Master Life Lessons, basic, idioms and acronyms and things that we can talk about, subject matter that comes up in everyday life that we can approach life in a different way as we listen, as we contemplate some of these techniques, these strategies, these philosophies on our daily basis so we can enhance our life and live the best life, especially if it's available to us. One of my favorite lines I ask people is this: if you could do better, should you? Yeah. If it's available to you, then do it. If you could be healthier and happier, should you? Yes. If you can have a more deeper connection with God and the universe, should you? Absolutely. If it's available, why not? If you can have a more passionate, intimate relationship with your spouse, your boyfriend, whatever it might be, man, why not? Should you? Absolutely. So this podcast is formulated and designed to help you do that. And it is an absolute pleasure and a privilege to be on this podcast with you and helping you grow, helping you show up, helping you just live a better life, a happier life, and give the best to this life. Because at the end of the day, we are just candles just burning at the wax. All right. So let's just share our flame with other people. And thank you for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure. So what's up, Cam? How you doing, man?
I am doing so good. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night, but that's okay. I got energy. Drinking a lot of water. I also got my beginner's license. Well, not beginner's license. I got my license today. The one where you can drive by yourself. That one.
You can drive by yourself now. Wow,
yes,
that's so long ago. I got my license when I was 17. That was 22, 23 years ago.
I waited a little while. Like, I'm 20 and I should already have it by now, but
it's all good, man.
But I got it. I'm really happy. And I really brought, thank you so much. I really brought a lot of good, encouraging energy to the table. I was like, I can do this. I could do this. I did a terrible job, but I passed anyways. That's how it works. It doesn't matter how good you are. It's the mood, man. Because I think if I was scared shitless, pardon my French, but I probably definitely would have failed that. But I honestly think, I made good friends with the person testing me, and it was a nice time.
That's good.
So,
man.
yeah,
good. That's
we did
good.
it. So today is about helping others.
Yes.
About we've had an entire episode about helping yourself, right?
Yes.
So this one is about sending that outwards and for other people. So what do you have to say about that, Anthony?
Well, you know what? I wanted to do this episode on today, November 1st, the day after Halloween, because for the people that know me, I am a Christmas fanatic. I love Christmas. November 1st, I'm not joking. I'm one of those people that plays Christmas music on November 1st. I have my Christmas decorations literally laid out, so when my kids get home, we can start putting them up this weekend and beyond. And I love the flavor of Christmas because my whole philosophy is this. It's like the Christmas music it's pure, It's joyful, it's happy, it's alive. There's no vulgarity in it. It's all about having a joyous time. And I love the colors. I love the ambiance. I love everything about it, the relationships. And the one thing that I realize about Christmas is that when I'm going out and shopping for somebody, it's not about me. I have my focus on if I'm shopping for a specific person, I'm thinking about that specific person in mind, present moment, with that person in mind, going, what could I do, whether it be buy a present or whatever, do something for the person that would make their day, that special day leading up to that day, happier for them, so I can share in that experience. And I just love that feeling, because I'm not doing it for me. Why not make every day Christmas in your life, knowing that every day and every time you wake up and every time you open your eyes, it's a gift. It's a Christmas gift. And I often say life is a gift that you unwrap every day. Sometimes you get a gift that you like. Sometimes you get a gift that you don't like. Sometimes it's a surprise. Sometimes it's not what you expect, but nonetheless, it's not the gift you get. It's what you do in response with that gift, and what you do with it is what matters. How you respond to those gifts, that what matters. Because as one of my friends always, and my colleagues always says to me, Anthony, it's the gift of crisis. So when crisis shows up, it's what you do with that crisis. And then ultimately you can turn that crisis into one of your greatest platforms for elevation and growth in mind, body, soul, character, and beyond. So this episode is all about, it is far greater to give than to receive. That reminds me of, the prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there's injury, pardon. Where there's doubt, faith. Where sadness, sadness, joy. Where there's darkness, light. It's giving that we receive. That's what it's all about. It is absolutely true from a physiological point of view. I mean, that takes me back to the Wayne. When I first came across Wayne Dyer's work about 15 years ago, I was watching a PBS television show. It was on, Wayne Dyer was on there, and he was talking about the power of intention. He talked about this one thing, and it stuck with me for so long. He talked about, can you impact people at a physiological, cellular level when you are giving a random act of kindness? And they've done studies on this, and I've probably talked about this before, because it is one of my favorite studies that I like to talk about. It is one of those studies that when you give someone something, they wanted to study the physiological response to receiving a random act of kindness and giving a random act of kindness. And so what they did was they took the metabolites in the urine of the people that received these random acts of kindness, and they studied their serotonin levels. Their serotonin levels is basically the hormone that elevates your mood, your happiness hormone. So basically you can get the same thing from taking ecstasy, yes, as Wayne Dyer says. But you know what? The truth of the matter is you don't necessarily need to take a drug. All you need to do is do something kind for somebody else. And usually serotonin levels are at the highest around 10 o'clock in the morning. Now, there's a couple ways that are easy ways to increase and enhance your serotonin levels that increase your mood, increase your happiness. And one is to get up in the morning, work out, and listen to something powerful, an empowering audio, or read a book on something inspirational. That's number one. And you can do that. It's absolutely in your control to do that on YouTube, listen to some audios, read a powerful book. And number two is do something kind and wonderful for somebody else. And in this particular study, they studied, and what they just discovered was that the people receiving the random act of kindness, their serotonin levels went up by like 300%. And then here's the interesting thing. They wanted to study the people that were giving the random act of kindness, what their serotonin levels were like. And their serotonin levels went up by 300%. So it is truly, you could literally impact people around you just with your energy of not taking the energy off of yourself and on to other people. And then here's the great thing. The people that were observing that random act of kindness, they took their metabolites in their urine, and guess what? People observing the random act of kindness, their serotonin levels went up by 300%. So not only are you impacting yourself and other people and the person you're giving the random act of kindness to, but you're impacting everyone in the realm of that influence that observes that. And I remember even I was in Mr. Sub with my wife and kids, and I think it was just my wife actually. And there was this kid, he was asking the person at the front saying, "Hey, how much for this sub?" And the person was like, "Well, it's this much." And the kid was counting his money. He said, "Oh, I don't have enough." And he was about to walk away. I said, "Whoa, what are you doing?" He basically said, "Well, I can't afford the sub." I said, "How much is left?" And so I said, "Listen, give the woman your money, and I'll pay for the rest. Just go ahead, do whatever." And there was a woman behind me, and it wasn't that big a deal. So the kid got his sub, right? And I didn't think anything of it. And the kid walked away, and there was a woman behind me. She kind of stopped. She said, "That was amazing that you did that for that little boy." I said, really? I said, why is that? She goes, man, you just freely gave of yourself. The kid didn't have the money. You paid for the rest of that kid's submarine. And it sounds so small and minute, but to her, to me, to that boy, man, how do you think the rest of our days was? Just by what? Performing one random act of kindness, giving to somebody that you really want someone, and then adding to their life by saying, hey, listen, since you can't afford it, let me just pay for the rest. It's not a big deal, but truly it is a big deal when you start to it starts to snowball when you start to do those things. People kind of recognize that your name with character and integrity and kindness and love. And guess what? When you finally need help, people will come to your rescue when you finally ask for help. So what am I getting at here? We've done a few episodes on taking care of yourself and the importance of taking care of yourself. That does not change. You definitely want to be selfish about that and taking care of yourself. I often say, I will take care of me to take care of you. Will you take care of you to take care of me? And I joke and I use this Jim Rohn's famous quote. I say to my wife, after me, you come first. Right. And as funny as that sounds, I take care of me so I can be a better husband to my wife. And I do it in a selfishly unselfish way. So the better version I am, I can show up with greater service as a trainer, as a coach, as a speaker, as an author, whatever role I'm playing. I'm as a musician. I can present the best version of myself or an upgraded version of myself so I can give more with more effect, with more precision, with more love. So that never changes. But here's the thing. You don't just sharpen yourself for yourself, because guess what? Here's the thing. If you were to give, and here's another metaphor. If I were to give you $10 million, but you could only spend it on yourself and you couldn't share that abundance with anybody, whether it be going on vacation or buying a nice Ferrari or buying a nice diamond ring or a nice watch, but you could never share or have anyone in the car with you or go on vacation with you. I mean, what is the first thing you do when something good happens in your life? What's the very first thing you do? You relish in the moment, you process it, and then what happens? You want to immediately what? Tell someone about it, because you want them to share in that experience. If you won the lottery, as an example, you wouldn't just go win the lottery and not tell anybody. You'd want to tell the people that you love and say, hey, let's share in this experience. So, as Mark Twain that said, happiness is only real when shared. And I can't agree more with that. That is absolutely the truth. I would not be here today as happy and fulfilled serving you. I wouldn't. This podcast is a perfect example of that. Cam and I are on the same wavelength when it comes to this, that we're doing this podcast because we believe it's right. We believe it's going to make an impact on people's lives. It's really not about me. I don't take credit for any of these words. Yes, I worked for it. Yes, I studied. But now I'm at a point where I said, you know what? I just want to give it all away. I want to share. I want to care. I want to live fully. And part of living fully is giving the best to this world on a maximum level as best you can. And for the people that hate you and the haters out there that judge you, haters are elevators. Let the haters be your elevator, and smile, because people are going to judge you. People are going to criticize you, but that should never stop you from being bold and showing up and being pretty and lovable and kind and generous and graceful. As I heard in one book that says, don't sweat the small stuff. It's all small stuff. In one of the chapters, he says, be grateful for your good moods and graceful in your bad moods. So listen. Give of yourself today. So here's one thing I want you guys to do today. One tip I want you guys to just realize and get from this. One small tip, since yesterday was Master Life Lesson number 3, the power of simplicity. Here's what I want you to get. Really get. Pick 3 things or 3 people in your life right now that you could just perform a random act of kindness. One person that you love, that's really dear to you. The second person, an acquaintance at work, a colleague. And then 3, someone randomly on the street, a person at the grocery store, a person at the bank, a person at school, a person randomly walk by. Just pay them a compliment. And it's got to be genuine too. It can't be just, hey, nice shoes, and you really don't like their shoes. But pay them an authentic, genuine compliment that says, hey, man, you wouldn't believe the impact that has on someone when you pay someone a compliment, or you give someone a compliment, or you send them a message, or send them an email. Those are my kids. If you can hear the doorbell in the back, they're home from school. But anyways, the point is, it is absolutely better to give and receive, because when you give, you then receive. And here's a mindset that I learned a long time ago. Don't give because you will receive. Give because you've already received. That's a different mindset. Know that you are already rich and abundant and wealthy. Know that you already are. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably already are. There's some skills, some gifts that you possess that if you shared it, you will amplify your wealth, amplify your riches in relationships and money and opportunity. So what are your thoughts, Sir Cam? Any thoughts as I kind of wrap this up?
I absolutely agree. I think a lot of people think that, you know, when something good happens or they have something good or they're happy, that if they were to somehow share that with others, it means that they get less, which is totally quite the opposite. When they share it with others, it multiplies, like you say with your candle analogy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I remember telling you, I think it was before or after yesterday's podcast, but I said I'm realizing more and more that meaning is in service. That, like, I mean, you could sit around and, like, build your own house and, like, decorate it and make sure the garden's real nice and all this stuff. But if you haven't impacted anybody else's life, then I really don't think that's a life with meaning, unless you feel like you're serving the animals or something by creating. But either way, it's in service. It's in affecting other life forms, other beings, other humans, other whatever. So whatever you can do, I mean, we all have talents. We all have things that we have that other people need. And if you have it, then giving it away or helping others will not ensure you have less. It'll actually ensure that what you already have will multiply. And shout out to all those people who are going through so much in their life but still decide to help others. Even in their lowest points. Amen. Shout out to those people. Shout out to Anthony for, even in his lowest point, he came on and did a show for us.
Thanks.
I can't even imagine, like, dude, I get so selfish when I'm in a terrible place. So that's why I wanted to, you know, shout those people out, because it's extremely, extremely noble to want to help people even in your lowest point.
You know what? That reminds me, as you say that. So thank you for making that comment. And that's what it's all about. That actually, I got that from this guy, Mathieu Richard, and he's a Buddhist monk, and they called him the happiest man on the planet for a reason, because they did some MRIs on his brain, and the part of his brain that's the reward centers of his brain are so lit up, and the part of his brain that's responsible for depression and anxiety, it's literally, there's nothing flittering in there. And they asked him, so how do you do that? How is it that your brain is so lit up in the areas that are joyful and happy? And he said, in happiness and fulfillment. And he said, well, I meditate 4 hours a day. And they said, okay, well, what are some practical things? You're human. What are some practical things that you do? And one of the things he said was this. It was so great. He said, anytime I do get down, which he does get down, he thinks about someone that's actually going through something worse than he is, and he goes and serves them. And he feels better. Isn't that exactly what you just said? And as Buddha says, you know, if you're a candle and you share your candle with 1,000 other candles, does that diminish your power? No, it doesn't. It actually amplifies it, because you share that candle, that flame of energy, of joy, of passion, of your gifts, of your love, and you share it with others, and then you light up the whole world that way. So, you know, and I love that story. It was Bob Marley. I mean, he was basically assassinated. I think he was robbed in his home. He was shot, and then he was supposed to do a performance, and then he did it the next day. Even like being shot like 2 or 3 times, and he still did the performance the very next day. And they asked him, "Why did you do that?" He goes, "The people that are trying to destroy this world, they never take a day off. So neither am I. Light up the darkness." Wow, think about that. Like, that's crazy. Evil's not taking a day off. We got to keep love burning. We got to keep that burning desire, that blazing determination to make ourselves and the world better. And it starts with us. It starts with giving of yourself, even if it's just to your family in that day. That's where it's most important. That's where you're going to make this most impact, at home. And we hope you really enjoy this Master Life lesson number 4. It's far better to give than to receive. Tomorrow's Master Life lesson number 5, we might actually extend it, because we're getting a great response. I think we're getting great conversation from this, and it's going to keep on building and building and building. Maybe we'll go 5 more next week. So ladies and gentlemen, leaders and healers, gamers and claimers from around the universe, thank you for joining the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. If you like this episode, if you like this podcast, share it, like it, comment it on YouTube, on Spotify, on Instagram, whatever it is. And we love you for it. To your continued upgrade and evolution, live it up with power, purpose, and passion. We love you. God bless, guys.